Good morning, everybody. It's about 6:53 in the morning, and I'm going to attempt to do a day in the life today. The kids and I are heading out. We have a taekwondo competition this morning in South Carolina, so we are heading out. It's very early. I've got to get gas for the car. I actually have to get money for the competition out. Their dad sent money for them for that, and we're leaving the puppy this morning because, grab the light, y'all. Big brother is home, but he actually had to go and get his hair cut. So he will be back shortly to be here with the puppy until we get back. We're going to go and do the competition, and then some of the kids will hang around and just make a, kind of a day out of it. And then we'll come back and prayerfully we will do something with brother. I don't know. I think he's got plans with friends, so maybe tomorrow we'll do something with him. But we're going to try to attempt to vlog today, our day. So come along with us as we do what we got to do today. Okay, everybody. We are, we just left the ATM machine. I had to grab some money for their tournament fees, and then look at the hams in the back, right? Ham it up, y'all. Ham it up. They're nervous. They're nervous. Take taekwondo almost every day and they're nervous. But anyway, we had to get some money out for their competition fees. Their dad sent money for them, so we are good on fees, and I have to just stop and get some gas, and we'll get them some breakfast. Normally I don't stop for breakfast, but we did not have any milk or bread in the house. Bad mom, bad mom. But I will probably do a little fill-in grocery haul. I was trying not to get bread because I'm really trying to not do carbs. But we gotta have toast. So anyway, we are on our way heading to South Carolina, and I am not going to vlog while I drive, so I will vlog when I stop. But since I'm getting ready to start driving, I'm going to sign off.
I'll bring the snacks.
Hey everybody, so we have just made it to our destination in South Carolina. We were driving for a long time. I was like, I don't know exactly where I'm going, but I'm gonna follow this GPS because GPS is from Jesus. That's all I have to say about it. But we just got here, and looks like our other group has come as well. They actually did a caravan because we take lessons outside of where we live, and it's closer where we live to just drive over. So kids have gotten their bags and everything out, and I'm going to get out, and we are going to get them signed in, and they're going to practice because we start in about an hour. So we'll see how it looks in just a minute. So we're in the gymnasium of this place. I'm not even sure what the name of the place is. I just put the address in my GPS, and the kids are warming up, and they're actually sitting now. I'm just looking at them, they're over there getting ready to start warming up. And I know that Jackson is going to be in the 6 and 7 year old category, but actually he's going to turn 8 next week. But they had us put down their birthdays according to January 1st, so he is 7. He is a blue belt though, and in taekwondo where we take, he has a blue stripe, which he's going to test for next week, and then once he tests for blue stripe in another 3 months, he'll test for red belt, and then for red belt he won't be able to test for 6 months to a year, and then he will test for his first degree junior black belt. Alana's a little bit behind because she started probably a year after he did, so she's right now a yellow belt, and she's going to be going for her green belt, which will be advanced belt. She's still in the beginning classes, so if she gets green belt, at least they'll both be in the same class and we can come at the same times. Of course, mom is still a white belt, and that means that I have to go to different classes, but I'm going to be testing for my orange belt. And my kids have been my teachers. They're not very nice sometimes to me. Like, Mom, you're not doing it right, Mom. I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can. My knee be hurting and my hip hurts. I'm trying to do the best I can, and sometimes it just... I told them, I said, I'm out here for exercise, just exercise. And they don't understand. They want me to be a black belt. I'm just out here for exercise. So anyway, as competition gets started, I will see if I can grab a couple clips of what they're doing. But we're probably going to be out with our group for most of the day. And like I said, my son is at home with the dog, and we will get back there a little bit later on, and then we'll just be at home for most of the day. We'll probably do some homeschool because the kids still have a little bit. They worked on homeschool last night until about 10:30. It's just been a lot of late nights for us lately, just with me really trying to make sure that everything is getting done so we're not running so far behind. I did actually have to move Alana out to have school until the end of June. Jackson is scheduled to be done at the 1st of June, the second week in June. Alana is scheduled out until the last of June, but she has a little bit of focus issues sometimes, so it takes her a little bit longer, and Jackson not as long. So right now we're just trying to stay faithful to the process, and hopefully it all works out. So if I can get a couple clips, I'll let you guys see what's happening, and then we're going to go out for lunch as a group. There's quite a few kids. I didn't make it to this tournament last year. This is the very first tournament that Jackson ever did, and that was because I had a speaking engagement in North Carolina, and they were in South Carolina. I felt really bad. I felt torn, like I need to be there for him. But this is a fun tournament. This was not one of those more challenging tournaments. So their dad actually came, and my older son brought them, and their dad met them here. So he had family here, and I felt okay about that. But this week, thankfully, it is today, and because it was supposed to be next weekend, and I actually have a speaking engagement next weekend, so praise God that it is this weekend and not next. But anyway, if I can get some footage, we'll try to get some of what the kids are doing later. Hey everybody, welcome back. So it is Sunday, and I do apologize. I am trying to get the hang of vlogging, or day in the lives. I can do just regular vlogs where it's just me and doing what I'm doing really quickly. But when I'm trying to do something all day, I will forget to pick up the camera. So it is Sunday, and the kids and I just got back from church, and we are trying to put together some meals for Make Ahead. So I thought I would bring you along and show you exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to be working on some spaghetti squash with some pasta sauce, and then I'm also going to put some chicken wings in the oven to do like what do you call them? mini chicken wings. I don't know, just with spice rub on them or whatever. But I've got a couple meals going already in the crock pot that I did put on this morning. I have some butternut squash going for a butternut squash soup, and then I also have a brisket and cabbage that are going in the other crock pot. So I'm going to put you down counter level and have you come along with me as I start to work on my spaghetti squash and pasta sauce. All right, so yesterday I had to run over to Food Line to pick up a couple of fresh veggies because we did not have much in the house. And they had this Gwaltney mild, this is pork sausage. It was 2 for $3 or $1.50, and I just went to Food Line because it's, you know, fairly close to where I live. And I had a coupon for 75 cents off, and so I paid 75 cents for this thing of sausage. And I felt like it was a good deal because sausage is $3 and $4 a case. I don't normally buy this, but I had a good coupon for it, and I thought, okay, I don't have pork or I don't have turkey. Of course, pork or turkey would have worked better to do like spaghetti sauce, but this was economical for me, so I got what I could afford. And while I was there, I actually ended up grabbing a spaghetti squash. A friend of mine who is a chef told me how to cook it, so I'm going to follow his cooking instructions. And I think it was on sale for like $1.19 a pound, so it wasn't very expensive. I think it was a little bit over 3 pounds, so not extremely expensive. And then I also got a butternut squash that was not expensive because it was $1.19 a pound, but it weighed a little bit less than the spaghetti squash. So I'm just going to use my wooden spatula to break up my sausage a little bit. I got my burner on like a medium heat, and I'm going to start this spaghetti squash in the microwave. So that's what he told me to do. He said start it in the microwave. I got my oven preheating to 400 degrees. Okay, so that's working with my sausage. I'm going to take a fork, and I'm just going to take my spaghetti squash and poke some fork holes in it. And the reason I'm poking the fork holes is when you put this in the microwave, it has a tendency to start to bubble up on you, and we don't want it to explode. And I like to get a fairly good amount of holes all the way around. Now, after you put it in the microwave, it will not be totally done, so I am going to put it in the oven. Okay, so that's pretty much has a lot of good holes in it. Also, if you do your baked potatoes in the oven, you want to do the same thing. So where I poked my fork holes in, I'm going to put this in the microwave for 10 minutes. And it'll just cook for 10 minutes. While that's cooking, I'm going to just break up my sausage. So here I have on a tray just some little drumettes that I had gotten on a sale. They were like a manager's markdown. And what I did was just put a little salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and some steak rub on them. And I'm going to bake these in the oven at 400 degrees for probably about 45 minutes. And then I'm going to flip them over midway between. And at the last, before I pull them out of the oven, I'm going to put them under the broiler just to crisp up the skin if it's not already crispy. Now I've got my sausage all cooked, and it's sausage is really kind of a thick consistency, Like it's in chunks. But I actually want to break this down further. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sauce that I bought this past week on a coupon. And I'm actually going to be using the Bertolli. This is the Vineyard Marinara. And I'm going to put this in my pot and let it cook on low for about 45 minutes, which is about the time it's going to take to finish up the spaghetti squash. But I just want it to marinate, and I want it to cook slowly so that it can also help break down the sausage. Now, were I thinking about it and had done it already, I would have actually chopped up some onions and peppers to go with this, and I have not put that idea out of my head. I just didn't do it ahead. So I may end up doing that because this is going to cook for so long. So I'm just adding in this. I'm trying to drain out as much of that fat as I can. And actually, if you wanted to make this a little bit lighter, you could just drain this in a colander and then run your sausage under some water to get any remaining fat out. So I'm doing a lot of cooking today, partly because what I'm realizing with the Weight Watchers is if I don't have meals made ahead, it's not like I'm not making poor choices, but I'm not making the best choices I could make. I'm using what I have at home. But if it's already pre-made, it's already put in the containers. That's hot. Then only thing I'm doing in the morning is grabbing my container and going. So I'm going to be hopefully having some really good meals this week. I've got the butternut squash going, and I added to that some carrots and peppers. I didn't add any onions, and I probably should have added some onions into that, but I didn't. I didn't have a lot of time this morning. I made this before we left for church, but I didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of chopping. So because I have grease left over from this sausage, I'm going to put it in this little bowl because I just don't want to pour that down my sink. So that's the reason why I'm straining off that grease. I don't want to pour that down. I do have a garbage disposal, but I don't want to get anything clogged up in there. So I'm just going to drain that off. And then I will dispose of that. I have not been using oils since I've been on Weight Watchers. I have used a little bit of vegan butter in like when I did the Mississippi chicken, and that was like a half a stick of vegan butter that I used for the whole dish, but I still have not been using oils. So I'm gonna just take this Bertolli. This is the Vineyard Marinara with Burgundy wine. This is for half a cup. It's 80 calories. So I'm going to put it in my Weight Watcher, in my iTrack Bite apps to see, what it would cost in points for the whole spaghetti squash, this sauce, and the one package of sausage. And if I can remember, I'll try to write it down in the description box. But I'm turning that on extremely low. Just going to put the top on that. And I'm just going to let that cook. Now this morning I made the double chocolate banana pancakes from Drizzle Me Skinny. I used her recipe. I just doubled the recipe, and the kids actually ate pancakes for breakfast. I did not have time to eat. So I'm going to try to grab something here in just a little bit. But I wanted to show you this. I got this traditional basil pesto a couple weeks ago with a coupon. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use half of or 2/3 of the spaghetti squash with the sauce, and then I'm going to just use a quarter of it, I'm going to use 3/4 of the spaghetti squash with the sauce, and then I'm going to take a quarter of the spaghetti squash that's left and just toss it with a little bit of this pesto and see how I like that. I've also got a big bag of the California blend garden vegetables that need to be cooked. And so I am going to cook that as well. So this is what my squash, it's hot. It's really hot. What my squash looks like once it has come out of the microwave. So I've microwaved this for 10 minutes. It does give to the touch a little bit, but it's still pretty firm. You can tell where some of the juices have released. And so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this in half, long ways. Will you grab Mama the other pan down there? That flat one, the cookie sheet. The small one is fine. And it is hot, so be very careful while you're working with this, because we're going to pull this pulp out. We're not cooking the spaghetti squash with the pulp or the seeds, and I am not keeping the pulp or the seeds. So I just had a garbage bowl over here, a little garbage bag that I'm just pulling my pulp out, because we won't be cooking with that. And the seeds. Okay, there we go. And really just you just want to get the inside pulp, because you know spaghetti squash looks like spaghetti, so don't get your meat. You know, you just want to pull out these inner seeds and this pulp. That's just not the best parts. We want to eat that, so we're going to pull that out. Bubba, will you bring the trash can, please? And so I've got a lined cookie sheet, and I'm just going to take my 2/2 of my squash and sit them on here. So on my spaghetti squash, I'm just going to put a little bit of seasonings into the inside, because you do want to make sure that it's seasoned well. And I'm just using 1/8 of a teaspoon. So that's probably 1/2 teaspoon for the whole squash. Then I'm going to just crack a little bit of black pepper over it. A little bit of garlic, because I'm going to be using this in a pasta dish. So, and again, this is just this is garlic powder, not garlic salt, but garlic powder. And then a little bit of the onion powder. Now, if you had some onions and you just wanted them to caramelize in your oven, you could actually slide these over, and you can put some onion in here and let them caramelize. And then I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of the spray oil. Into the oven. This is at 400 degrees, and this is going to cook for 40 minutes alongside of my chicken. I'm going to check it about halfway through, because I will need to flip the chicken over. So I've got a couple things going on. I have a lot that I've done this morning. In this crock pot, I've got my butternut squash and my peppers and carrots. I'm going to chop that up in the food processor to make butternut squash soup. And then in my red crock pot, I have the corned beef brisket and cabbage. And so I just turned the beef brisket on high. I'm going to let that cook on high for another couple hours. The cabbage looks like it's done, but of course that cooks probably faster than the brisket anyway. And I want my brisket to be fork tender. It is tender, but it's not falling off. So I'm going to let that cook for another hour or so. And then I'm going to come back and see where we are. This morning I made sausage and potato casserole. I was surprised to find out that the hash browns, the O'Brien hash browns, if you get them in the pack, for a 2/3 cup is only 2 Weight Watchers Smart Points. So that was an exciting find, because I could do 2/3 cups of hash browns for only 2 Smart Points. So I was excited. I added in 2 eggs and a cup of salsa for the whole thing. The kids ate this morning, and I have yet to eat anything. So I'm going to take a break and just grab something and sit down for a little bit, because I'm feeling a little bit lightheaded right now. But I'm going to grab something and I'll bring you back when everything is done. Hey y'all, welcome back. So it is almost 7 o'clock, And the kids and I have been either cooking crock pot all day, or when I got home from church, we finished up some things. So I wanted to show you guys what my spaghetti squash looked like. And then I also wanted to show you what the butternut squash soup turned out like. And I'm getting ready to do the spaghetti squash and pesto. So I wanted to bring you along kind of as I finished up everything for the day. So we are pretty much done. I'm going to take you back down counter level and just show you how I'm finishing everything up. So this is my squash. I actually put it in the microwave for 10 minutes. I poked holes all throughout the squash to allow it to kind of do that cooking and release those juices. And then I split it in half, pulled the middles out, and put it into, seasoned it real well, then put it into the oven at 400 degrees for about 40 minutes. And the reason I left it in there that long is I really wanted to make sure that the squash was done. You do not have to leave it in there for that long, but it is pull apart easy. I'm just pulling away the flesh and the outer skin, and it is pulling apart with no problem. So 3/4 of this I'm going to use with the sauce that I made earlier, and then 1/4 of it I'm going to use to do a pesto sauce. So I thought I would bring you along as I did the pesto portion. So this is my regular fry pan that I really, really love. I use it for almost everything. I just sprayed it with a little bit of cooking spray. We did a lot today, so it's been busy in here. I got a thing of spinach, and I haven't cooked with spinach in a long time, so and I haven't really been eating spinach for a while. I've been doing like the coleslaw or the egg roll in a bowl. I've really been loving that. So I have a thing of spinach, and I'm going to pull out just a couple handfuls of the spinach and throw it in. You know, spinach wilts down so quickly. So that's all I'm going to do. And I'm not going to put any salt in there because the pesto has all the seasonings that I need, and I already salted and peppered my squash while it was cooking in the oven. So I'm going to turn my heat down just a smidge because I don't want anything to burn. And just give that a few tosses in the pan. In the meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and de-shell my spaghetti squash. So I'm just going to take my fork and begin to just peel away the outer shell. So I'm just peeling away the outer shell. Just getting that flesh away from the outer shell. And probably next time I cook this, I will put it on the top rack. I had it on the bottom rack. And this makes a lot. I mean, it's pulling a lot of that flesh off. So I'm just going to put this in my bowl. And just keep working to pull out that flesh. I mean, it makes a lot to me. And this is just 1/2. Kids are finishing up some homeschool, so it's just Mama in the kitchen, but they helped. Jackson helped with the pancakes earlier. So for 1/2 of the squash, this is what I was able to pull off. So I'm going to take about another 1/2 of the 1/2 and put it in this bowl, and then I'm going to keep out a 1/4 for the pesto sauce. And then I'm going to use this for lunches for this week. Okay. So right now I've pulled off 1/2 plus 1/2 of the second half. And this is what I have left over from, this is 3/4 of the spaghetti squash. This will probably give me 3 or 4 lunches. me stir my spinach, because that is wilting down. So I did a couple handfuls of spinach, and really this is all you get out of that. So that's just a couple handfuls. To that, I'm going to add the rest of the spaghetti squash. So I'm just going to pull it out of the shell. Somebody come feed the dog, please. And it's just kind of turning that shell inside out and pulling out the flesh. And I did notice that my bottom was kind of burned a little bit. You can rotate your squash so it doesn't burn. Just midway through the cooking process, come and roll it over so it doesn't burn. Okay. And you really just want to pull off as much of that flesh as you can. So I've got in here just about a quarter of the spaghetti squash. I've got 3 handfuls of the spinach. Now I have no meat in here. There's no meat at all. And you don't have to put meat, or you could put some meat. So all I'm doing, because my squash had already cooled down, is I'm simply just warming it back through. But then to this, I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup of the pesto sauce. And this is just the Barilla traditional pesto that I had a coupon for the other week. I think I paid 50 cents for it when it was on Super Doubles. And you know it has all that oil and everything in it. So I'm just garlic, oil, pine nuts, spinach. And I'm just going to stir that around and measure out a 1/4 cup. Now what I have in this pan is probably 2 servings, maybe 3, depending on how small or large the servings are. And pesto has a great flavor. And I'm thinking a 1/4 cup might be a bit much. So you could probably even do half of this for this small amount. Now it probably would be okay if you're doing the whole spaghetti squash. But we'll see. I'm going to add half of the 1/4 cup and see what that looks like. And as soon as that pesto hits the pan, it smells amazing. So let me see if I can bring you a little bit closer so that you can actually see. Okay, so here we have the spaghetti squash, the pesto, and I probably on that, so that if I did half of the 1/4 cup, that's 2 tablespoons. And this is probably going to do about 2 meals. And you don't have to have meat. If you have turkey sausage or whatever, you can actually do it just like you would a pesto or a, this is what it looks like. You could probably do this just like you would, and this would be your spaghetti, you know. You wouldn't have to have meat. So I'm going to let that hang out there for a second, turn that heat down just a smidge. And then to this spaghetti squash, I'm going to add in the sauce that I did earlier, which was the Barilla pasta sauce, the marinara, and the sausage that I made. So I'm just going to add in, and it seems like that is a lot of sauce. But I'm not stirring it or mixing it. So I will mix it when I get ready to plate or put it into my containers for the week. And I really think that the 2 tablespoons of pesto here is going to be plenty. So I'm not going to, a serving is a 1/4 cup. But because I didn't use the whole spaghetti squash, I'm just going to use 2 tablespoons. And then we can always use that pesto for whatever else we're going to cook later. So that's done. This is done. I'm going to put that in a bowl. And to go with this pesto spaghetti, I have some of the Tyson's Grill and Ready tomato, basil, and herb chicken strips. So this probably would give me about 1 to 2 good sized portions there, especially if I added in some additional veggies in there. So we're going to just take everything over to the sink, do a little bit of cleanup, and then show you the final products. So here's what we have. We have the butter. This is a spaghetti squash with some spinach and 2 tablespoons of pesto. This is about 1/4 of a spaghetti squash. That right there probably is going to be, I would divide that into 2 meals. Probably, or I would use this as 1 meal, but I would eat half of it for lunch and maybe half of it for my early afternoon snack. The next thing I did was 3/4 of a spaghetti squash with 1 jar of the Barilla pasta and 1 package of the Gwaltney mild pork sausage. So that's going to be a couple meals, probably 1 or 2 lunches, and the kids can have for dinner or whatever they want to have it for. The next thing that I did was the butternut squash soup, and I'll show you what that looks like. This is our butternut squash soup. It's just been sitting on warm. I can add a little bit more water to this, or if you like it thicker, then this is as thick as it is. I just have in here 1 butternut squash, some carrots, some peppers that I just had boil all day, and salt, black pepper, and took them out when they were tender, and then had put them in the food processor. So that's what I did for that, and then I added in half a cup of fat-free half and half. So that's done and ready to be. That'll be a couple meals. That's probably 2 or 3 cups of soup left. I had a cup for lunch. I did some chicken wings here, but the kids have devoured the chicken wings, and we just did those on a regular flat pan. I did probably about 30 chicken wings, just salt, black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and a little bit of steak seasoning on a flat pan, 400 degrees for 40 minutes, and they crisped up really nicely, and the kids had some for early dinner. And then that is what was left of the potato sausage casserole that I did this morning. And that was 1 package of hash browns, 1 sausage tube, 1 cup of salsa, 2 eggs, and a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese for the whole casserole. And then the last thing that I have over here is my beef brisket and cabbage. So I've got 1 beef brisket that's been cooking all day, and then I have 1 small it's a small cabbage, it's not even a medium cabbage. So that's what the kids and I have been doing. What I'm learning now is that I have to prep and plan ahead for Weight Watchers, because if I don't, then I'm forced to just kind of grab whatever's in the house. I am trying to do as low carb as possible, because I know that I don't tolerate carbs very well. So I'm trying my hardest to not do carbs and do more veggies. Tomorrow, which is a homeschool day and we're not actually going to Taekwondo, I have 2 big bags of the California blend veggies, which is broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. I'm going to mix that up together and just go ahead and get that steamed ahead. And then there are a couple other things that maybe I would do as far as meals. I think I might have some more chicken or something in the garage freezer. So anyway, that's what we did today. We want to thank you so much for stopping by our channel. We hope that you picked up a tip or trick or something that you'll try this week with your family. And so until the next time we cook,